Hello everyone, I hope everyone's doing well. Let's wait maybe for more participants. Hello Thiago. Okay, maybe let's wait 1 or 2 more minutes. Hey everyone. Hello everyone. So thanks for joining this webinar. My name is Shams Rumili. I'm a solution engineer at Sifflet. So today we will explore a bit more together the Sifflet platform and show its potential for data observability and data quality. So I will show you the main features of the platform, such as the data catalog, monitor creation, alert investigation. So if you have any question, please feel free to raise your hand or ask them in the chat, and I'll be glad to answer. So let me share my screen. 1 second. Okay, so hope everyone can see my screen. So as I mentioned, Sifflet is a data observability platform for data quality. So it's basically a central interface for all teams working on data quality to gather assets, create monitors on these assets, and also investigate alerts and redirect alerts to other investigation tools. So to start with, if we want to connect data to the Sifflet platform, we have to first create connections. So to Snowflake, for example, here, we basically enter the credentials and we are able to load whatever tables or schema that we're interested in loading. And we can set the frequency to which we want it to refresh. After the tables and the data has been added to Sifflet, you can find them in the data catalog, which is basically a unified view of all the assets that you want to monitor. So in this catalog, you can filter by source. So here, if you want to find only your Snowflake assets, you can also filter by asset type and by tags that you can create, which we will see later. And if I access a resource on the data catalog, I have access to a summary of its data quality health on depending on the checks that I implemented. And I have a summary also of the assets, which some of the information are imported directly from Snowflake. So here the description, the columns, the column types. So it allows to have a referential and first view of the assets. And now the idea is to create monitoring rules on these assets. So here I have several ways to create monitors, one of which is by using the pre-made templates on the UI. We have monitors at the table level, monitor templates at the table level, such as volume, freshness, and schema change. We also have monitors at the column level to allow for more specific business rules, such as metrics. I don't know if I want the distinct count of rows or products. And we also have classical field profiling features, such as duplicates, unique null values, distribution change, also validating a column is in certain values. And for strings also, we have also pre-made templates that verify a certain regular expression or a custom one. Now, coming back to setting up a monitor, if I want to set, for example, a volume monitor on the claims table, imagine I'm in the insurance field, but it can apply to other, to any kind of table, any kind of data. If I select the volume monitor, I'm going to track how many rows are ingested compared to the historical behavior. So that's the incremental mode set to daily aggregation. I'm comparing daily ingested rows to the previous behavior. And I'm going to have an anomaly if one day the number of ingested rows differs from the historical behavior, basically. I also have more advanced options such as where clauses to filter on certain columns. I also have group by options if I want to group my alerts by certain columns as well. And I can also rely on dynamic thresholds, to not have to set the thresholds manually, and it relies on our time series, basically algorithm that's going to compute a reasonable threshold with respect to the historical behavior. I can set some general information about my monitor. I can set the severity of the incidents that will be generated, which is very helpful to prioritize alert remediation. I can set the schedule, how often does this monitor run, and I can also redirect alerts to typically Jira, ServiceNow, or other ticketing systems, even email, Teams, or via webhook. So this is one way to create monitors. I don't know if there's any question so far, but basically this is the first way to create monitors. Another way is via our YAML syntax, which we call monitoring as code, basically. It allows to deploy a high number of monitors simply by a YAML syntax, by giving the arguments, the exact arguments that I showed you in the templates, but via this YAML syntax, and then deploy them via a workspace. So this is very helpful to deploy monitors at scale. Another way, which is via our AI agent, that basically scans the metadata from the table and is going to suggest a monitoring strategy based on some sample of data and the table and columns metadata. So it takes a bit of time to run. I'm going to reopen another tab in the meantime. And so this is really helpful if you're integrating new tables to have a first idea of what could be interesting checks to make. And another one is via automatic monitoring in our settings tab, from which you can select the resources that you want to run, that you want to deploy monitors on. And then you can select whatever granularity, so the database or the schema, for example, and you can select which checks you want, but it's only for freshness, volume, and schema change, so table level checks. So let me check if the automatic suggestion ran. So here we can see that the auto monitoring is suggesting us tests that are linked to the basically business rules of that could be interesting for our table. So it's suggesting basically to integrate a duplicate alert on the claim ID, and we can see here it's also suggesting a range of value for this column. So it can be really helpful as a first set of monitors to set up. Now when we look at, so monitors are going to trigger incidents that are going to be redirected to the channels that you configured. But when you look in the Sifflet interface, the incidents are going to have a description. So here we can see a distribution drift in the product table, and in the product column, sorry, in the claims table. And we have a description that is generated by our AI agent, sorry, with also root cause analysis of the error and a suggestion of remediation on how to solve this data quality issue. On the incidents page, we also have the possibility to escalate to Jira or ServiceNow. We can also update the status, which is going to be updated in this, let's say, context activity tab. And again, this is helpful for Sifflet as a collaborative tool for both technical and business users to be able to add context that can help the resolution of alerts. So one other thing to see in the incidents page is that the monitors that caused the incident are grouped. So there's two different monitors on two different tables, but these monitors are linked because the tables are linked in the lineage, and the lineage shows the dependencies between assets in Sifflet. And so our intelligent grouping method avoids to have too many alerts when they are linked. So typically these two alerts happen on two assets that are linked in the lineage and on two specifically columns that are linked in the lineage. So it's regrouping them. One thing we can do is then investigate in the monitor. I'm just checking if anyone has questions so far. No question. Okay. Another thing to see is in the monitors tab, if we want to look at data points that caused the issue, then we're going to investigate here. In green, you can see the expected range. So it's the computed thresholds by our by our time series algorithm in dynamic mode. And the dots that you see are the actual data points. So here we can see that there's a deviation that's out of the expected range on these dates, and we can see what value it is and what the expected range is. What we can do in this menu is classify the the monitor failure. If this is a false positive, then it's going to add it to a feedback loop, which will take it into account in future detection to avoid having such false positives. And you can also add notes, for example, if this is, I don't know, a holiday and this is an expected behavior, then you can note it for further review. So we have seen how to reference assets, we have seen how to investigate incidents, and to then see the monitors implemented. One thing I can show you is a bit of, let's say, the governance aspects of our platform. So one thing that's really helpful to split the users, the access, and mimic also the dependencies of your organization is to create domains. So domain will typically gather a list of assets that I can select, for example, using my filters if I want here, and then I click on the assets that I want to add. And the domain will allow to give different roles to the users, to the assets of the domain. So it can go from viewer to editor, and so this is so you can be viewer in one domain and editor in the other one. You can also set these permissions in the user tab. Here I can be a viewer in finance and, I don't know, editor in marketing. So I can create a user with these credentials or update an existing user. One granularity lower are the data product, which enable to group assets within a domain. So I can create a data product, for example, in the finance domain, and basically select owner and group the assets of these data products, and configure alerts so that all the alerts on these assets will be grouped via the selected ticketing tool. One other thing that's helpful for housekeeping are the tags that you can simply set like this, and then you can add them to assets in the data catalog right here, or you can add them also to basically to data products. One step further is the custom metadata, are typically key values that you can add and that you can find in your assets. So it's really helpful. So here, I don't know if one is configured, but I can create, for example, a custom metadata of team or whatever I need, and set a number of values that will allow to either filter the assets or find who owns what, and basically have some order in your assets. So yeah, I don't know if there's any questions so far. One thing also is the main Sifflet interface that you can, by the way, filter by domain, which shows an overview of basically your monitoring strategy, your referenced assets, your incidents, your monitoring coverage, so either by domain or globally. And these functionalities are going to be improved in Q4 to have more custom, basically reports and dashboards of your data quality monitoring activity. Maybe one last part is the business glossary. So one step further than tags, it allows to add business terms and their definition so that everyone can be aligned on basically what the assets are about. And you can come and tag these business terms directly in your assets, like here. Yeah, so this was an overall presentation of the platform. Please feel free if you have any question. Okay. So thank you everyone for attending. If you have any question, please don't hesitate to message us. We'll be glad to answer or to build up a more custom demo to your use cases. So yeah, we'll be glad to help you out with that. I wish you all a nice evening. Bye bye.